Hello, you beautiful people. How's it going? It's Bonnie Gillespie, and I am here to school you on your castable type and brand and creating a survey that is going to get you the highest quality data possible. Highest quality data possible may not sound very sexy. You may be like, okay, I don't really care, but you do. Because ultimately what you want is to get to the money faster. I'm guessing. You're a storyteller. Yes, you have this amazing voice of stories that you were born to tell. You cannot wait to get those out in the world, but you would like to do it in a way that you could actually feed yourself and pay your bills. So what we get done by having the highest quality survey going on is get you the best possible data so that you can start making that money faster. So hopefully you're into that. I'm into that. I am going to be muting my mic every now and then to cough because I am a little under the weather, as the saying goes. How do I frickin' mute this so that I can cough without killing you guys? I actually have no idea how to do that. I really honestly have no idea how to mute myself. Isn't that tragic? Tragic. So I'm seriously going to just go, which is the most ridiculous way to mute yourself ever. I think is there a thing on a thing? I think there may be a thing on a thing. Anyway, hi, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Share this. Thank you for those of you who've already done a little sharing. I am in headphones when I'm usually not because we've got some construction going on in my building and it's happening like right here outside my window. Perfect timing. And hopefully the headphones are preventing that from coming in a little too much, but we'll see, fingers crossed. How's everybody doing? Your husband's always trying to mute you. Laura, have you figured out where the button is? Has he? Because I think there's supposed to be a thing. Who knows? Nomi, hi. So glad you're here. Who else is here today? Carlos, hello. Great to see you. Thank you guys for loading in. Hey, John, good to see you as always. If you read the Bond Blast, and I'm assuming that's why a lot of you are here, you are already well aware of all my tips on how to have your most fabulous brand and type survey ever. The reason we're doing this right now is because in just a couple days, like not even 2 days from now, like a day and a half from now, we are in the midst of the most fabulous 11-day run of the year, and that's Getting Gear for the New Year. If you have not signed up for Getting Gear for the New Year, first of all, what's the problem? What's the problem? Stacy, you're my favorite too. Thank you, sweetheart. So glad you're here. Go over to smfa4.com/getingear.php. That. Go there, get yourself signed up. Make sure that you click the confirmation link in the email you receive immediately. And if you're getting the thing that says you're 50% of the way done and you never get that email, it's because you already got that email and it won't send it to you again. So you got to kind of go fish it out. And when you go fish it out, like from your spam, your promo, your junk, wherever your mail program likes to hide it, then you will be all set to receive 11 straight days of inbox training, totally free, that will absolutely up-level your tools and your mindset so that you are ready to start the new year in your most badass shape. I'm so glad y'all are here. And thank you for recommending Getting Gear for the New Year to others. We're really proud of it. This free training that we've been doing for years now. And it's so powerful. It's something that you can join in our Facebook group and get a lot of support. You can use the hashtag SMFA Ninjas out on Twitter and Instagram, and you'll have an entire community running up behind you, supporting you, and you will be able to support them as well. So it's a really exciting time with a lot of energy. And it's totally free. So why not get all your shit together? And really, I could have called the training Get Your Shit Together, but, maybe that's not so polite. Anyway, please join us for that free training. And because of this, we are going to get really clear on how to have the best possible survey so that you can get the best, highest quality data. And by getting the best, highest quality data, we get clearer on exactly how it is that you are going to make the money the fastest. And as a storyteller with lots of stories to tell on a global stage, we would like you to be making some money to do this so that you're not, struggling, because the struggle is not real. David, hello. Good to see you, sweetheart. So glad to see so many wonderful people here today. Awesome. For those of you watching in replay, either here at Facebook or over on YouTube, I will encourage y'all to come over to Facebook where we'll continue conversation because I open comments at the Facebook version. But I also post this at YouTube because I want to show y'all some love, even if you kick it non-Facebook style. But the conversations continue on there as well as on Twitter and in the Facebook group and blah, 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 blah. Get to it. You ready? Here we go. I'm going to take this little guy down. Aaron, I meant to tell you, my love, my wonderful Aaron, that I would love to put up each of the 11 things from today's blog post and Bond Blast. Those of you who would like to play along, Aaron, I'm asking you to go over to BonnieGillespie.com right now and grab each of those 11 and put them in the comments as I hit each one. And I will then feature your comment on the screen, you commenting as me or as you, whatever. And then those will be there. Let's try that. We'll see. I obviously just thought this up. But meanwhile, if you have not seen the Bond Blast, all you got to do is go over to BonnieGillespie.com. And this right here will take you to the place where you can read the blog post version of this. I also have turned it into, wait for it, an SMFA hot sheet, which means you, if you're the paper kind of person, you'll be able to download a 4-page version of this badassery. You're welcome. You can highlight it. You can make notes on it. You can turn it into paper planes, origami, whatever floats your boat. All right, here we go. Number one, the number one most important thing when it comes to setting up your survey. And you know what I'm talking about. This is where when people come into our Facebook group all the time and throw up a headshot or 10, not 10, please not 10. First of all, greedy. Second, no, not 10. Just no, 1. You want to survey one tool at a time. You want to find out, what is this tool doing? And when you find out what is this tool doing, you then know if this tool is doing what it's supposed to do for who you are in the room. And if it turns out that this tool is not cutting it, you then do the survey again on another tool to find out if it is getting the job done. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The reason number one is create a Google survey is because this is the cleanest way to get data. It allows you you just go right into your Google Drive and create a new form and set up this thing that's basically a survey/form at Google where you can use multiple choice answer. You can do short answer. You can use radio buttons, but I don't recommend that because it forces people to pick a thing. And you want to make sure everybody can pick multiple things when you're giving them lots of choices. You want to keep yourself from the temptation of participating in the data gathering process. You also want to make it so others aren't swayed by what they see. And so when you throw up a headshot in the Facebook group and ask people in the comments to share what they see, you right away have messier data than if you were to do a Google survey. Because in a Google survey, you end up getting data that is pure and unadulterated and untouched and uncontaminated because they're not looking at what each other is putting in there. You're not getting in the way of the data, most importantly. All these pieces of information are coming in individually without the influence of anybody else. And this pack mentality, no matter how much a rebel you think you are, that pack mentality does become a factor. And in fact, if you're a rebel, you're more inclined to say something that is anti what you see everybody else saying, which is also skewed data. So right off the bat, you want to do a Google survey so that you are getting clean information put away off to the side. And this allows people to share their thoughts in hopefully an anonymous place, because I'll get in a second to number 2 here, you're going to make it super, super easy for people to participate with. What this is going to allow you to do, this Google survey, is really collect information all in one place that you will be shocked how often people who are not paying attention to what one another might be saying are agreeing or are getting on the same page with one another. It's fascinating. And the way we had this flesh out in our in-person classes is we would do things like have the typing exercise going on live in the room. And I always thought, well, the reason people are agreeing with one another is because they're hearing each other say things, or even if we're doing the silent typing exercise or putting the posters on the wall, there's that yes and mentality. We started doing a version like this, where in week 1, people would fill out the typing surveys on one another before they even came to the first week's class and met each other. And then in class, they were shocked at how these people who had never met and never met them were saying the same thing. So it's actually a much cleaner way to get the data. Number 2 is going to be make your Google survey stupid easy to participate with. Make your Google survey stupid easy to participate with. What I mean by this is don't require someone log in. Don't require someone have a Gmail account. Don't require that somebody go to a password protected video over at Vimeo to see you doing your silent Who Am I video test, which we'll talk about in a second. You're not forcing someone to click through to see a gallery of 400 photos, again, with the, oh my God, at the photos. You're surveying one thing at a time, hopefully just a picture, and it needs to be simple and straightforward with that playback enabled in that embedded photo or that embedded video that you've got there. Super, super easy sharing function within your Google Drive. You want the questions to provide the best answers possible. And what that means is even if you've given a list of typing words and essences, which we have in the SMFA hot sheet, so just go over to dojo.bonniegillespie.com to grab your hot sheet, your list. You go in and dump those into the survey and make them all checkboxes. And you allow people to choose as many checkboxes as they see fit. Now, this is where you may be tempted to say, but I only want people to pick the top 3 things that they say about me. I'm going to get to this in another number in a minute. You really don't want to create any restrictions while you are data gathering. This is something where people get excited thinking ahead toward how they want things to be. So they start thinking restrictive. And I'm like, no. Collect all the data, make it stupid easy for people to play with you here. And then you go through and sift it down to the final numbers, which we'll get to in a bit. Next up, number 3, I want you to keep the questions simple, straightforward. And remember, you're surveying one tool at a time. So this reflects back on what I was saying at the beginning on how you really want to only survey one thing at a time. And here's why. I want you to think of this analogy. Let's say you've just served this amazing 5-course dinner. Yay you, first of all, this amazing 5-course dinner that apparently you know how to do. Then as everyone's leaving, you ask them to fill out a survey saying, how was dinner? And that's the question you ask them. You are going to get incredibly generic responses because someone is going to be thinking of dessert because that's what they just had. Someone's going to be thinking of that amazing salad because it was like beets and goat cheese and oh my God, like that's perfect salad. Why do you need anything else? Call it salad. It's beets and goat cheese, done. There are going to be people who are really excited about that bread that you served because otherwise they're gluten-free, but today they went off and had the bread. Point is, I'm really excited about this food analogy. Point is, you really start mixing things up when you are surveying multiple things at once. And if you want to know how was that richness and that texture of that one component, that one part of the meal, you don't survey the entire meal. This is why when people throw up 5 different headshots at the Facebook group, you'll immediately see people rushing in saying, nope, survey one tool at a time. Again, it's greedy to ask for more than one anyway. It's also completely inefficient because we have to be more general the more things we're looking at once. It's like if you send me to your website and tell me to give you feedback, I'm going to give you general feedback on how it feels. If instead you send me to your website and ask how I feel about the bio on a certain page, I am going to talk to you about specifically that bio. And then we're talking. Now we're getting really specific on something that we can tweak and make changes to improve the appearance of the entire website. But we really need to segment and look at one piece at a time. If you are the kind of person who actually somebody, Leslie, beautiful Leslie, posted on my blog at bonniegillespie.com version of this Bond Blast today. Well, what if I want to survey 2 different photos? Well, good news. This isn't the only day of your life that you get to survey people. During Getting Gear for the new year, we are only going to be doing surveys at that point in the 11-day challenge. And so that's why this week at the Facebook group, we're pretty much shutting down every survey that goes up ahead of then. Because it's like, no, don't work ahead. You know the curriculum that's coming up if you've done this before. If you've never done it before, then hold on to your hats because it's about to get cray. But we are about to all engage in this massive data analysis together, and the energy is addictive and exciting and really wonderful. And so as a part of that, we are all going to be participating, and each person's going to do one thing. If we catch you doing multiple headshots during this, you get booted because that's just not ninja. You're going to do one at a time. You can always come back in January and survey another headshot. You can always survey a different headshot in front of a different audience and get different survey responses for a different tool in a different space. But for the purposes of this, you're going to be surveying one tool at a time, and you're going to keep the questions simple. Don't complicate things. Don't turn it into a big old essay contest. You're not asking anybody to apply to college by filling out this Google survey. Just ask, what's my type? What's my age range? No, don't ask what's my age range. Ask what's my age. This gets me to number 4. Don't restrict people's options. Here's what I mean by that. When you restrict people's options, and this, again, I flirted with a moment ago, by saying, give me your top 3 adjectives to describe me, you are forcing them to pick the top 3 that they think of at that moment. And there may be 20 more that they've got in mind that you are forcing them not to give you. And that's really unfair, because what if there's a dozen people that all would say their number 4 thing for you is the same word? You just robbed yourself of massive and powerful information by forcing people to choose only 3, because maybe each of those people had a different top 3, but if they all would have shared that same number 4 word, and then that would have completely adjusted your survey responses overall, that's some powerful shit. Now, if you do want to do the tool, which happens a lot in surveys, where you say, I want all the responses you've got. And then in a second question, say, of the words you've given me, what would you say are the top ones? That's fine as an additional question. But then you're also running the risk of making it a little more complicated than necessary to take a flipping survey. So keep it basic. Just don't overthink this. You got a lot of tools to survey over the course of your creative career. And we're going to have a lot of fun doing this a lot of times over and over, because we never run out. We are always data gathering. You don't want to restrict when it comes to age range in particular, because even though you want to ultimately get down to a 4-year most castable age range, when someone asks what's your age range, you generally want to give them about a 4-year range. If you're in a minor market, you can go a little larger. If you're on stage, you can go a little larger. But in general, in a major market, on camera career, you're talking a 4-year age range almost always. And then, yes, you can have outliers that are a little bit out of that age range, both in higher numbers and lower. You want to make sure that when it comes to that age range, number 5, you are keeping it open for everybody. Let them give you all the numbers that they can possibly come up with, and then you take the data later and bring it down to those 4 years. Because what's going to happen is, again, you may end up by forcing someone to pick a 4-year age range for you. You may find them skewing on the young side, and then someone else skews on the old side. And so then those don't overlap enough in the right place, where if you had told them to tell you whatever number of years they felt you could reasonably play, which is what you really want to know, you could have found that your bell curve is actually peaking somewhere else. But when you force restrictions on your data collection, you really shift the power of what information is coming at you. And you really want to accept as much information as possible and then go through and sort it to come up with what the patterns are showing you. All right. You got all that? Got that? Because I could say this one 3,000 times and people will still put in a survey. Tell me my age range, 3-year limit, 4-year limit. Give me my 10-year age range. Or they'll create boxes and check here what my age range. I'm like, no. Just give them a fill in the blank. How old am I? And that way, even if a person says a single year, that's how old you are, great. That's fantastic data. Got that? Hey, Veronica, it's absolutely my pleasure. I am so happy to share this with y'all. Remember to go to bonniegillespie.com if you want to read this along with me, or you can watch what's flashing up here on the screen, thanks to Badass Erin. By the way, Erin, all day today, everybody I've been coaching has been talking about how wonderful you are. So I don't know what you did while I was sick and couldn't talk to anybody, but you talking to everybody instead of me is apparently the smartest business move we've ever made. So from here on, you talk to everybody because they love you. I mean, they love me too, but like, girl, you're getting some praise around here. So number 6, know that your photos pose could be responsible for your feedback. All right, this one is a crazy making one for a lot of people because they, especially if they hate the kind of feedback that they're getting, I love being able to look under the hood and realize that sometimes the feedback they're getting has nothing to do with who they are and what essence they bring into the room, and everything to do with the pose. Okay. So there's this, let me see if I can cheat it. There's this kind of pose. Do you see how I'm leading with my shoulder? And even though my face is directed to the camera, this shoulder turn makes me less trustworthy. And I mean, it would be the same if I did it this way. It's not like one shoulder or the other. Okay. There is something about an angle and only seeing part of the face that makes us less trustworthy. So if you have a shot in which you're looking over the shoulder or you're turned in any kind of way, you may think that it is incredibly flattering, and it may be. But if you are getting adjectives like untrustworthy, secretive, manipulative, and you are not that in the room, it's the pose. It's the pose. And here's how I know that. If you are sexy, you ain't got to pose sexy. You're going to get sexy in a driver's license photo. Sexy comes across like no matter what. You do not have to be all putting on fake eyelashes and fluttering them. And I'm talking to you, John. You do not need to be doing that. Yes, you do. Actually, John, I want all your headshots to have the fake eyelashes and the fluttering eyelashes and all that charm and wit. Yes, please. It is important for you to really be sure that the pose aligns with who you are in the room. And so if you're doing that schmackty, quirky, cocked eyebrow, fake glasses, finger guns, shoulder shrug kind of look because you're going for comedic, you have so oversold all the freaking quirky that I just feel trying too hard. And so then I'm going to give you words like that when I'm looking at that photo. Your survey is going to, for me, be collecting data that is about how hard you're trying and how much effort you're putting into being seen a certain kind of way. Because people who are funny, they don't walk around like that. I mean, I guess some of them do, but most people who are funny can just sit there and look at you and you start cracking up. I know they're your real eyelashes, John. I know. You come by it naturally, damn it. Seriously, you at your core could be in no kind of pose, no kind of made up kind of look, no kind of styling, no kind of environment, not even shot professionally headshots, just a straight up selfie. You could get the same kind of responses from that stuff that is you at your core, which is why a lot of the times we recommend that you survey a silent vid, which is going to actually take me to number 7 in our list. And so while Erin is putting up number 7, I am going to change my batteries because they just started flashing on me. Oh no. And when the batteries start flashing on you, you gotta change them out. And I gotta, of course, be able to see right which is the right way and which is the wrong way. This is where you get to see my behind the scenes tech, y'all. Don't you feel intimate? Don't you feel like you are a part of the magic? This, by the way, is such an amazing purchase because this tiny little LED light can compete with the sun that is backlighting the crap out of me. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, come on. Onward to number 7. A silent vid is what's going to get you as close as possible to that first impression, I've just walked into the casting room vibe. Like that is really what you want to make sure your headshots do. So the reason you'll see people doing, instead of a headshot survey, an actual silent video survey, is because what they want to receive is information on how am I showing up in the room? What is that first impression when I'm walking into the casting office? And so they've never met me before. This is my first time getting into this office. Yay me. What are they feeling? And it has nothing to do with the character that I'm there to portray. That first impression is just, this is me entering the room. Hey, how's it going? Great. Any questions? Nope. My mark is over there. What's my frame? Cool. Go. Now I'm auditioning. Now they can have their impressions about me as a performer and as aligned as I might be with this character at this time. And then, of course, my craft, my talent. However, if you find that your headshots and your silent vid are getting you different results, your job is not to try and lean into what your headshot is selling. Your job is to throw out that freaking headshot and get a headshot that sells what you're bringing into the room. Obviously, if you are in an environment where you can test out your type with a group of people, doing this in any kind of classroom environment, workshops, I know that SAG After Foundation puts these on. Anytime that you can do a group typing exercise, it's a great idea. But you need to do it before you've started speaking, because those first impressions come from that. And you then need to check to see if your photo is aligning with what you're bringing into the room. This is why when we do this in the self-management for actors classes, we do this across the whole day. We help as you take it all the way from that silent first impression to the headshot, to you as you've been in the room throughout the day, asking questions and participating in the self-management for actors work, all the way up to your pitch, which is how we close the day, where we're taking a look at how you've dressed, what your style is like, is everything matching, how you sound, what's your sense of humor, and how do you speak about yourself when you're asked, so tell me about yourself. We want to make sure that all of this aligns. And if we're finding by the end of the day, there's stuff about you that is not tracking with that photo, we know we've got work to do. We also are able to help you strategize how to shoot a photo that encompasses things like a really high-pitched voice or a really low voice, or something about you and the way you speak and a formality that exists, but that we don't feel until you open your mouth. There are ways to get this projecting in your materials so that everything lines up. And then, of course, we take that all the way through to your website, all the way through to your bio, to your resume, to all your tools, your social media. But that's a more comprehensive program than what we're talking about right here, right now. But of course, if you want more information on all of that, BonnieGillespie.com, start page there will take you through all of this good information. Silent vid is a great way to do this, especially for some of you who are coming back to getting gear for the new year. If you're like, I've already surveyed all my headshots, I know which one is working on what kind of level. This is a great way for you to still participate in this day's homework by using a silent vid instead of a photo, if that is what you would like to do. The light that I am using, Nomi, is it's an LED. It's a Dynex is the brand. Dynex LED. It's sold on Amazon for something like $8. I mean, like $7. I mean, like it's seriously nothing. And it runs off 2 AAA batteries. And then I've got it on a Gorilla Grip, which is just a little tripod that you can like. Do you like my sound effects? Like with all the legs of the tripod, all the 3 legs of the tripod. All right. Okay, got that. Silent vid, if you're feeling like you've already got everything done on your headshot. Now, this ties in with number 8, which we're going to put up on the screen next, which is you can survey lots of things, just not all at once. Do you get the feeling that I'm basically telling you over and over again some of the same shit? You know why? Because every fucking day of my life in the Facebook group, I say these things over and over and over again. And my favorite thing about doing this Facebook Live with you right now is that from here on out, all we ever have to do when someone puts up a survey that's breaking any of these rules is plop up a link to this video. Can I tell you how happy I am? Can I tell you how what I am doing right this second is making me so happy, and future me is thanking me for all the spare time that I now have, because every fucking day of my life, I don't have to remind people of the right way to do a survey because it's right here. Oh my God. Future me is so happy for what now me is doing. And of course, a little pissed it passed me for not having done this like years ago. Not the point. All right. You could survey lots of things, but not all at once. Got that? You absolutely can find out things about your type and brand. You can also find out things about your age. You can find things about your stage name. This was one of my favorite ones. One of my private coaching clients was testing out a stage name, and she didn't want to do it at Facebook because obviously her personal profile already had her real name, but she knew she wanted to test out a stage name, and she was just wondering how it might feel. And I told her to go over to Reddit, because you know who loves to weigh in with opinions about every damn thing? People at Reddit. You throw up a link to a survey in Reddit and just say, hey, I'm an actor and I'm testing out a stage name. What's my name? You're going to get some really interesting things, but you're going to get a lot of opinions from a lot of people who have nothing to do with show business. And if you're like, well, it's useless information if it's not exactly what a casting director would say, I'm like, oh my God, you so don't understand that a casting director's job is to see through the lens of the entire storytelling process to come up with what is going to work for an audience at large. Therefore, that audience at large is a very good pool of people to survey. So go ahead, and if you want like a bajillion responses to a survey, you go put that shit up at Reddit. And when they go, what is this? Tell them about self-management for actors. Maybe some of them might want to check out if they got an acting career in their back pocket somewhere that they'd like to try out. Okay, you can also survey things like, where am I from? Because that photo may feel a little more big city or small town. There are all sorts of things you can find out about yourself or how you're coming across in your tools by doing these surveys. But remember, each one is its own experience. Don't try to survey everything at once. You'll exhaust your respondents. You'll get lower quality responses just because of fatigue by asking so many things of the same photo or the same silent vid, depending on what you're using. And also it's better to isolate what it is that you're working on, get that tweaked, and then try it for a little while. And then if you want to make another change, do another survey, test one other thing out, and then maybe make a change based on the information that you get on that. Because if you start changing a lot of things at once, you don't really know what it is that's made a difference, if anything. And it's kind of like that game Mastermind, where you don't want to be told you've got 3 pegs right and one of them's in the right order and then throw all of them out and start over. Because the idea is to build on what you know is already working. And clearly 2 things are not right, pull out one and see if you get different numbers by surveying again. Got all that? Number 9, always end your survey with a final prompt where there's room for them to write, is there anything else I need to know? I love asking, is there anything else I need to know? Most of the time, because when I'm taking a survey, and where I survey people is when we offer anything for our buyers, for anybody who's in the world of self-management for actors. If you've ever taken a course with us, we almost always end the course with some kind of survey, because I am constantly checking the data for quality control. What do I need to fix? What could I be doing better? What did I anticipate that you needed and you were thrilled that I gave it to you? What could I have anticipated that you needed, but I didn't notice it, and now you can tell me and I can make sure that that's in there in the future? We're always recalibrating. I always end the surveys with anything else I need to know. And I love that question because I get answers like, you are awesome and I love you and thank you. And I mean, it's awesome. I love that little sign off. But it's also the place for people to tell you things like, oh, I'm glad you gave me this room to write, because here's what's missing. You remind me of so-and-so. And if you didn't give a question that was, are there any celebrities I remind you of, or any personalities, sports figures, whatever out there in the world that I remind you of, this gives that space for someone to share those kinds of things. And a note on that, I'm not a huge fan of asking about celebrity comparisons because they're going to come up naturally. And that's why I like it being a part of anything else I need to know, because if somebody feels strongly enough about it, they will fill it in there. But if you ask someone to come up with celebrities that you remind them of, they'll work to figure out somebody. And I just don't think those responses are as pure as the ones that come from, I will not be able to sleep at night if I can't tell you that you look exactly like so-and-so and whoever the so-and-so is. Then, of course, we work on that from a place of how do we write the breakdown for that actor, that person, that character, or the characters that person has played rather, and use those descriptive words in your bio, in your about me, in your description of the kind of roles that you were born to play, because it's a slippery slope when you start comparing yourself to exact celebrities, because you don't know where we go in our mind about anybody that you may put on our radar. And of course, this has come to light for a lot of people with the example that I gave recently about with all the Hollywood sex and power scandals and everything going on and all the accusations out there, that there are people who've been running around going, oh, I'm a Kevin Spacey type. I'm a Kevin Spacey type. I'm a Kevin Spacey type. And to them, they thought that was a great thing to use because of how awesome he is as an actor, not knowing that, half of Hollywood sitting there going, are you really? And having a completely different opinion about what that might mean. And so you can't control where our brain is going to go when you use somebody else. So be careful with that. And just always give space for more information to come your way, because you never know. Glad you guys are enjoying this. Thank you for sharing it. Thank you for the comments and the hearts and the thumbs up and all that. This is super helpful. And I'll come back through and answer questions, because we are just rounding the corner on 10 and then 11. Number 10, remember that every survey is a sales tool. Now, I know this one might sound weird because you're like, I'm surveying a bunch of jackasses on Reddit. Who am I selling to? Baby, you are a brand. And you are building a brand with everything you put out in the world. You are sharing who you are as a storyteller with everything that you put out into the world. And that means every blog post, every survey, every post you make on social media, every conversation that you have out in the world, you have to know there are people who are your potential buyers in the very legitimate sense, like casting directors walk among you. So there's that, all the way to this is your fan base. These are the people that you hope are going to plunk down money to put their butts in seats at the movie theater and help pay you for the work that you do as a storyteller. These are all people who are developing an understanding of who it is that you are with everything that you put out in the world. And this is one that we really get into a lot at the Facebook group, and the leadership group that helps run our Facebook group, the Self-Management for Actors Facebook group, which is 10,000 plus people now. And so and even though we vet people and kick more people out per day than we let in per day, it is still constantly growing somehow. It is baffling to me. It is phenomenal to have the conversations in our leadership group about what it is we're doing with every post and with every question that we answer in those threads. We are not just talking to the single person that had the question. We are having the conversation in front of thousands of people about what it is that Self-Management for Actors is about. You are doing the exact same thing. You may think you're getting into a sparring match on Twitter about politics. What you're actually doing is teaching that agent that had his eye on you that you might be a little hot-headed, and either that aligns with what he's looking for in his roster or it doesn't. And you can even be on the same side politically, but you're shooting off on your Twitter fingers may be something that makes somebody at the next tier a little nervous. So you have to realize that everything you're putting out in the world is being consumed by your audience. And that means you really should keep an eye on running things through the brand filter. And that goes all the way down to this survey, because if you are a detail-oriented mofo and you slap together some survey and don't put any thought into it, it's going to cause brand confusion. And on the other hand, if you are someone who is incredibly casual and low key, but you are a perfectionist about this survey, you may make me think, oh, okay, you play super cash, but you're actually showing a lot of attention to detail. And maybe that means that you do understand there's a difference between the kind of character you play and who you are as a business person. So just make sure that it's going to work in your favor in either direction. Finally, number 11, and I said it again, because it's so important. And I, of course, went to 11 because these go to 11, and 11 is one more greater than 10, and that's better. And everybody who knows the movie reference of that is just old like I am. No, we're not old. We're experienced. Number 11, stay out of your own damn way while you're data gathering. Please stay out of your own damn way while you're data gathering. This is so incredibly important, especially if you have decided to blow off everything else I've said. And instead of doing a Google survey, you've decided you're going to just put up a photo or a video in the Facebook group and ask for opinions in the comments, which is totally fine if that's what you've decided to do. But when you ask for opinions in the comments, in addition to the fact that everybody is going to be swayed by what they're seeing everybody else say, either because they're going to want to agree with them or they're going to want to be contrarian, whatever it is that's on brand for them, what you need to be sure you don't do is get in there and say, oh my God, yes, I get that all the time. Oh my God, I so would love to be on that show. Thank you for mentioning that. Oh, I love sci-fi. Yes, that is so mean. Period pieces. God, oh my God, yes, all day. Thank you. From your mouth to God's ears. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God, shut up. Shut up. Because with every yes and that you are doing in the comments of your survey, you are muddying the waters. You are leading the witness. You are creating momentum in how people should answer every question about you going forward based not on what you are trying to survey, a headshot or the silent video, but instead on who you are showing them you are by what you write in. Think about that. And if you wanted to survey who am I based on how I write, that's a completely different survey. But if you actually want to know what it is your headshot is selling, you have to stay out of the way while you get the information about what it is that it does. That is why we encourage surveying your headshot early on in your relationship with self-management for actors, because it's before people have a chance to get to know you. Because once we know you, we're not even giving you information about the photo. We're giving you information about you as a human being and who you feel like you are when we're with you or when we've spent time with you either online or in the room. But if you give us the opportunity to give you feedback on the photo, we then can be the most helpful about what it is doing for you. And then after doing all of this, please remember that once everybody knows you, once you have a fan base, once the buyers are aware of what it is you can do as an actor, as a storyteller, your photo is almost completely irrelevant. There, I said it. It doesn't matter. It's a placeholder. It's a bookmark. It is a reminder of who it is that you are in our lives and how we feel about you and our experiences with you. And you know this is true because, like, if you have met somebody online and then you meet them in person and then go back to their online profile, all their photos look slightly different because now you've met them in person and it just has a different vibe to it. All those exact same pictures feel different because now you're associating what you experienced in the room with that two-dimensional item. And the same is true for headshots, which is why the headshot is only vitally important as you are first trying to get into the room. Once the buyers know you, once you've been in that room, the headshots are just a placeholder. They're just a bookmark, just a reminder. It really has no relevance at that point. So your headshots are incredibly important and then almost not important at all. I know every headshot photographer is ready to shoot me on that last one, but it's true. What you got? What questions might you have for me? If you missed any of this and don't feel like rewatching the vid, well, you're missing some high comedy, let me tell you. Please go over to BonnieGillespie.com. Bam. My blog post there on your most castable type and brand will give you this entire list, and there's a place for comments there as well. And I'm going to be uploading this to the SMFA hot sheets area. We will have all the SMFA hot sheets updated for January in time for the quarterly call that we do on January 11th. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we still got getting gear for the new year. We have the last class of 2017 start for getting gear for the next tier starting up. We're going to make some changes at Getting Gear for the next tier starting January 1st that we will be revealing over the course of these next couple weeks that we got left in the year. We don't even have 2 weeks left in the year. Oh my God, we seriously don't even have 2 weeks left in the year. Come on over to the Facebook group. Get involved with Self-Management for Actors now. The time has never been better. This is when things are going to be firing up really fast and furious. We're going to be sharing a lot of information over a really short period of time, all completely free. And then, yes, if you want to join us for the 100-day challenge, we would love to have you come on in to Getting Gear for the next tier. We can make the welcome kit available for you so you can check that out ahead of time in case you'd like to poke through there and see if it's your speed. But for people who are like, oh my God, I love this amount of support, I love this amount of structure, and I would love to have like 4 months of this shit, we got you covered. You're absolutely welcome, Anna. It is absolutely my pleasure. Y'all have any questions for me about any of this as we are wrapping things up in here? Yes, absolutely my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for being here. The 100-day challenge, Ashley, is Getting Gear for the next tier. You can get more information about that at my website as well. So I should have left that up here. Ding. Oh, hey, look at that. Thanks, Aaron. You're awesome. If you go to BonnieGillespie.com, you can find, there's a button there called Get in Gear. Click that and it will take you to Getting Gear for the next tier. Rebecca, it's a blast to hang out with you too, sweetheart. I'm so happy you are in our lives. That will get you information on Getting Gear for the next tier, which is our 100-day challenge. It starts whenever you'd like. You don't have to wait until the first of the year. In fact, if you wait till the first of the year, it's going to cost more. So for those of you who are budget conscious, you may want to sign up now. But that's advanced information that I'm giving you because we weren't actually supposed to talk about that just yet. You will want to get involved as soon as possible if that is a factor for you. But this is a place where we do 100 straight days of daily curriculum on your types, your tools, not just your types, your brand, your tools, money management, your relationships with your agents and managers and casting offices and targeting. If you're someone who's a writer, a hyphenate looking to be a showrunner, this is the kind of thing where you can explore your leadership roles beyond just being an actor, but being an overall storyteller in whatever market you happen to be a part of. We do a little woo-woo action because sometimes things just get stuck and we don't understand why. A lot of mindset work. Self-taping, producing your own content, taking things to festivals. It's an intense 100 days of the Self-Management for Actors curriculum. And then after that, you have free reign at the SMFA Vault. The money management, Ashley, is no joke. Like there's some stuff that goes on in the first 10 days of the course that will blow y'all mind. And yes, I see some questions coming up about silent vids and so forth. So keep the questions coming. I'm going to pull them through here and cycle. But yes, if you want some more information on Getting Gear for the next year, we would love to have you. You don't have to wait till the first of the year to start. And you don't have to have done Getting Gear for the new year first. You can do them simultaneously. It's just there's a lot of stuff going on. But we're there to support you. We're a part of the comments in there every single day. So there's a lot going on. Stacy, I'm ready too, girl. Let's do it. All right, Ayesha, still want to know a little more about creating a silent vid, framing, and I'm guessing very basic clothing, etc. Ayesha, however you show up to auditions. So this is where you get to say that if I'm showing up for the most on-brand me audition ever, this is how I dress, this is how I style, this is how I go into the room. And then as far as how to frame it, yeah, you want to frame it pretty much like I've got this framed right here. It needs to be just a, head and shoulders shot. You don't want a ton of headroom up here with a bunch of nothingness because, it needs to be framed like a headshot or like an audition shot right over here in this kind of territory. And then it's just silent. You can do the I'm looking off to one side or the other if you want to do that profile thing, but really it's just give us a moment with you looking at us and us looking at you and taking it all in. And then we give you the feedback from there. In fact, if you go over to the Self-Management for Actors Facebook group, there is a files area, a very underutilized, fabulous files area. And one of the files is a collection of every branding survey that anyone has ever posted in our group, all collected into one single file. So you could seriously get a college degree in going through and watching all the silent vids that have ever been posted in branding surveys. So if you wanted to get a good look at what surveys look like before you create your own, that's my best advice, is to just go in and do it today so that you're not trying to figure it out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday when Getting Gear for the New Year is up and running and people are throwing up new surveys and you're like, I want to play. Go ahead and get yourself prepped now so that you're ready. Diane, the baby steps on creating a Google survey, super easy. You go into your Google Drive, you go into the menu area and choose new. And in there's a Google form, create a new Google form, and it walks you through step by step. And here's my favorite part about all things Google. If you don't know how to do it, Google it. You can Google how to create a Google survey. Take notes and then take a look on your screen versus their screen. That is the kind of thing that's going to rock your world far better than I would be able to describe it, because technically I've never made a Google survey. I got a team of phenomenal human beings who do that stuff for me. Isn't that great? Yes, you have homework, Anna. We all have homework. We all have homework. We have homework before the homework. Stacy, I'm glad you found me too, sweetheart. And I love your energy too already. I can feel it off the screen. Diane, you got this, girl. Don't sweat it. I know, Rebecca, data, loving that data. Yes, please come join our Self-Management for Actors Facebook group. The new book, JB, I don't know if there is a new book. We just did the 4th printing of the 4th edition of Self-Management for Actors. That is available at Barnes & Noble, on Amazon, in Walmart, for Christ's sake. You can get Self-Management for Actors pretty much everywhere right now. And that's the baby that we are most excited about always, because it's a textbook at colleges and universities all over the world. Oh, speaking of all over the world, y'all, because you're here, I'm going to tell you another advanced thing that I'm not supposed to talk about yet. We have now 4 cities on the 2018 Self-Management for Actors tour. 2 of them are United States cities. 2 of them are not. Stacy, you should get the physical book or the audiobook. You can get the audiobook too if you like to hear me talk. Like, I talk for 17 something hours on that audiobook. Self-Management for Actors is available. Yes, the physical book and making the notes in it. And oh my gosh, the Post-it notes, the pictures that I've seen of how like beloved teddy bear with missing eye these books are, makes me so, so happy. JB, we may do a different book on a completely different subject, possibly. Before the next edition of the book, but I'll let you know about that. Gary, if my facial hair now is different than in my current headshot, should I survey a photo of what I look like now or survey my current shot? Totally up to you, Gary. If you survey your current headshot, you're just going to get data about that current headshot. If you would prefer to survey how you are looking right this second, I would take a selfie or do a silent vid. It just depends on what you want the data on. And remember, you don't have to get it all done this time. You can survey one thing now, and then in a couple weeks, you can survey something else if you want different data on, or more data on different things. So it's completely up to you. All right, let me see. Who else had a question? I saw Chandra. Hello, goddess. Oh my goodness, that's a big one. All right, I've asked a version before. I thought I'd also bring it up here. For writers, in lieu of a headshot, would you survey a piece of writing to get your genre and type? Chandra, I fucking love you. If it wouldn't piss off your wife and my husband, I would make out with you. Love this question. Yes, you should survey a piece of writing to get your genre and type. You do not have to put up a headshot unless you want data on whether or not your picture aligns with what it is that your genre or your style of writing is selling. But you don't survey them at the same time. So if we look at this in terms of what's about to go on with Getting Gear for the New Year, and I see that this is like completely covering my face in frame, so I'll take it down. What you're going to do with this is actually treat the results you get on your writing sample the same way people are going to be treating the results that they get on their headshot, and then create that word cloud based on that. And then you can see where people are saying that aligns photo-wise. I would be really careful doing that, though, because we ask people not to include their word cloud with their photo when we get to day 3 of the program, which I know that will sound familiar to you. But when we can work on this in the dojo to take it to a different level. because this is going to be something that is a little more advanced than what the program itself is doing. But you and I can work on this for sure. Thank you. It's a great question. Yes, I would love for you to put up a writing sample and survey that. I think that's a brilliant idea. Yes, of course. Yes, your headshot is a reminder of who you are. And it's deep-ish. It's deep-ish, Destiny. I'm so excited. We're going to have so much fun together in the new year and beyond. Liza, love this. Can't wait to give SMFA tomorrow as a Christmas present for a fellow creative. What a great gift. What a great gift. You're awesome. Thank you for giving the gift of self-management for actors. That makes me so happy. We had some people buy in bulk and give copies to their alma mater. We've got a couple people who went to drama schools where the colleges or the drama department haven't actually picked up self-management for actors as a required text yet. So every year they buy a case of the books and donate them to the current senior class so that they can all read them on their own, even though the college is not requiring that self-management for actors be a part of the curriculum yet, even though a lot of schools do, which is great. And we love that. And oh, look at my sunshine coming in and touching my hair. That's so nice. Y'all have any other questions before we wrap things up? We'll continue to jam in the Facebook group for Self-Management for Actors. If this place is new to you, please join us. Self-Management for Actors Facebook group. 10,000 something people having a good time in there. It's good. We love it. That is one downside to sun and refraction of light. All right, you beautiful people. Thank you for joining me for this absolutely fabulous walkthrough of how to wrangle your data like a mofo and really make the most of your castable type and brand survey so that you get data that actually works for you. Because the last thing I want is for you to go through all the trouble of surveying people and getting data and then finding it's not clicking. And especially if it's not clicking because of stuff that you did to get in the way or formatting things that we could problem solve before it even becomes a problem. I am so glad that you've taken the time to watch this. And hopefully you've taken some notes. Hopefully you've gone over to BonnieGillespie.com and read the version of this that goes along with it, downloaded your SMFA hot sheet and highlighted it and made more notes on it. And of course, we'll continue to ask us questions here in the comments at the Facebook. And for those of you watching over at YouTube, come on over to Facebook, join us. BonnieGillespie.com, get signed up for Get in Gear for the new year. Best 11 days of the year. Totally free training. And I absolutely love this community so much and how of service y'all are to one another. Thank you so much for being here with me. It's been a blast. I will see you inside the Facebook group. Till next time, stay ninja. Mwah.